Hello, hi. Welcome back to our Kubernetes series. In this video, let us discuss about service accounts. We'll be seeing why the application needs a identity, and that identity was the service account. And what is the service account? And we will be comparing the service account with user account and how the service accounts work, a step-by-step complete flow, and the default service account, how the behavior and why the customization or create RBAC is required for that, and we will be seeing the monitoring, a real world example where the monitoring application that securely reading the cluster data by using the service accounts, and a quick recap about the discussion. So without further, let's enter into the video and have a discussion. First thing, as I said, the service account is something, it is the identity for the application within the Kubernetes. So identity for the pods to authenticate via the Kubernetes API, and also the applications inside the pod to authenticate via the Kubernetes API. Okay, and this is how exactly the flow of pod the, and API authentication. Initially, there is a what we can say a monitoring application, and that needs to read all the pods list. So it identify through the service account, like identity was provided by the service account. Okay, and it was a Kubernetes object in namespace, within the namespace. Okay, and there is a token mounted at JWT bearer token. Okay, this in this path in the pod. Then with that token, it will authenticate to the corresponding to Kubernetes service. Okay, now let us see why the application needs the identity. First thing was, the applications often need to talk to the Kubernetes, especially the CI/CD pipelines, to deploy the applications and monitoring tools, reads the metrics, and operators manage the resources. So all from inside the cluster. So obviously there should be a communication with the Kubernetes, right, through the API. And here, pods may also need to read the cluster data, especially the monitoring application need to list all the pods, and logging agents needs to read the config map, as well as an auto cluster will check the resources usage. Okay, obviously this communication for this identity was required, and also the Kubernetes API that requires the authentication. Any request to the Kubernetes API must include the valid identity. So without valid request, valid identity, the request is rejected with the 401 unauthorized error. Here, human user credentials are work for applications, sorry, or wrong for applications. So let's say using so and so user config map inside your pod is a danger, and hard to rotate those credentials, and also whenever user leaves, that access will break. And for better understanding, you can think like service accounts is a mission identity, where it is a dedicated and automatically that will going to manage the credentials for the applications. There is no human intervention was involved, and for simple or better understanding, you can consider like a simple rule: never put a human credentials inside your pod, and always use a dedicated service accounts with the minimum required role based permissions or role based access controls. And this is how exactly the human credentials in your pod looks. If the that particular user leaves, the application will breaks, and there might be a chances of admin access to the production, and it is also hard to re-rotate or rotate the credentials. And this is how exactly the service accounts looks, where there is a dedicated service account per application, and the token is auto rotated by the Kubernetes itself. And also we can enable the role based access controls, and obviously it is independent of human. Now let us see what exactly is service account. Service account is a Kubernetes identity for workloads. So it works in the namespace within the Kubernetes object that represents the identity of your pod or the process which was running inside the cluster. And Kubernetes will automatically provide a JWT token whenever the pod is assigned a service account. Kubernetes will mount a assigned token into the pod at a standard path. So I will show the path also in the next slide. And it is different from the human user account. Why? Because service accounts are for applications or for pods or missions, we can say, and it is managed by Kubernetes itself. There is no external identity provider is required for managing the service accounts, and it is speed to the namespace. It was whenever we talk about the scope, the service account is dedicated with respect to the namespace. It won't work in another namespace. Let's say if the namespace is monitoring, if we go to the production, it won't work that particular service account. And it works with role-based access control. So we are going to assign a roles to a service accounts by using the role bindings, just like uh, how you do for normal human user, and it is going to provide a fine-grained access control. And for simple analogy, you can think like service account is a employee badge for an automated system, and basically it identifies the robot or a mission, not a humans or the human users. And it only opens the permission or gives a permission if the rule is allowed. So here is the example of a service account YAML file. In the kind, we are specifying the service account, and in the metadata we are giving the service account name as well as namespace as monitoring. So it is namespace dedicated Kubernetes object. And in the pod, whenever we are assigning in the pod YAML file, we are specifying the service account as with this service account name. Then Kubernetes will auto mounts the token into the pod and authenticates that. Now let us see the identity types, which is service account and user account. And basically, the user account is for humans, and service account is for applications or pods or missions, we can say. So it is preferred for applications. For each and every application, there should be a dedicated service account. And user account will represent a human developer or a admin who are interacting with that particular cluster and managed externally by using the LDAP or OIDC or any certificates. And it is not a Kubernetes object. But coming to the service account, it was represented a pod or a workload which was running inside a cluster, and it was managed by Kubernetes itself. And as I said, a Kubernetes namespace object. It is a Kubernetes namespace object. And user account is something it authenticates via the kube config and certificates or external identity providers and access from outside cluster, and it gets the roles via the role binding. The same thing here also applies, gets a role via the role binding, and will access gets inside the cluster and authenticates via the auto mounted JWT token. And user account is something like a employee ID for humans to enter into the office or building, but service account is something a robot or system ID badge for automating the systems inside the cluster or for authenticating the systems. Okay, so both support the RBAC role and role binding, and also both supports the authentication verified by the API server, and also provides the least privileges like a minimum access needed, and both namespace is scoped, so isolated by the namespace both. And now let us see how the authentication flow, like how the service accounts work, step by step flow and complete authentication flow. Okay, here first of all, admin will create a service account. It is a simple YAML where we are specifying the kind as a service account. We will give the name and namespace. Okay, name of the service account and namespace. uh, that's it. Then once it was created, service account was created, then pod should reference these service account specifications in the pod specifications. So while specifying, we are giving the name of the service account, and the pod will declare with the service account's identity. Then Kubernetes will auto mount the JWT token into the pod. So token is available at this path where run secrets kubernetes.io service account slash token. Okay, so once it was authenticated by using the token. We have this token now. Now Kubernetes will check the SA permissions on the API call also. So pod is going to send a token as a bearer header, okay, and then API server will verifies the identity and checks the role binding for permissions. If it was allowed that particular permission, then that request was allowed. If it was that permission was not there, then the request should be denied. 403 forbidden error. Okay, and here is how exactly the application reads the token file and uses it in the application. Okay, and it will authenticate and provides the access. Now let us see the default service account, how it looks like. And first thing, each and every namespace has a default service account. So Kubernetes will create it automatically whenever the namespace is created, and it always exists. And pods uses it automatically if none specified. So if you don't set a service account name, then Kubernetes will assign the default service account automatically. Okay, and default service account has a very limited permissions. That is like important thing. By default, it can only do a basic operations. So you need to bind your roles to its explicitly for more access or permissions. Okay, and don't rely on default service account in production. So if you add permissions to the default SA, all ports in the namespace, it will inherit them, and it was a security risk. And also make sure to create a dedicated service account per application, one service account per workload with only the permissions that specific workload needs, and separate for consent. Correct. Sorry, separation of consents. So that means create a dedicated service account per application. So one service account per workload, and with only a dedicated required permissions. And the bad practice here was never add a permissions to the default service account. Instead, create a service account with a proper name per the application with exactly the permissions it required. And this is how exactly the namespace service account structure. So this is the namespace, let's say monitoring namespace, and this is how exactly default looks, and the dedicated custom created service account. It has the limited permissions, and it has a like proper role based access control, and using a default service account, so obviously all pods will share the permissions, and using a named dedicated service account per application, it was isolated, and like proper role based or least privileged. Okay, least privileges can be assigned. Now let us see the role based access control with service accounts. Okay, basically access control for service accounts. Okay, so here the service accounts are role-based objects. I mean role-based RBAC subjects. That means like just how the humans inherit the service accounts. Sorry, just like human users, service accounts also can be bound to a and roles and cluster roles by using the role bindings. And we are going to create a role with a minimum permissions. So we are going to define exactly what the verbs, that means what the actions required application needed, nothing more than nothing less. Okay, and we are also in our back we are going to bind a role to the service account. So role binding with a specific kind as service account will links them. So Kubernetes will enforce it for on each and every API call, and a fine grained per application access. So monitoring application will reads the pods only, CI/CD will create the deployments only, and backup application will reads the volumes only. Likewise, fine-grained application access can be provided. And compromised pods. So let's say compromised pods is equal to limited blast radius. So that means if your pod is breached, attackers will obviously gets only that particular service account is allowed, and not the whole cluster wide. Okay, why? Because it is namespaced, right? And it can be applied to that particular namespace only. And here is the best pattern or practice: one application, one service account, one role, and specific permissions. So never share the service account between the different applications. So this is how exactly the service account plus role based access control architecture look like. Initially service account, I mean this is a monitoring service account, it was bounded by a role binding. Okay, this is the role, a kind of a service account monitor SA name, and the name is role reference. This is the role binding was done, pod reader. Okay, now it is going to grant you permissions from this particular role binding, and that particular role was a role reader, pod reader, sorry. So it will get list and watch the pods. So this particular monitor service account can list the pods only, or get, okay, and watch the pods. It cannot delete. Okay, if you see here, here is the example where monitoring application securely reading a cluster data. Okay, monitoring application, uh, this is application securely reading the cluster data via the service account. So here is a scenario where the monitoring application is something like Prometheus monitoring that needs to discover and scrape the metrics from all pods in the cluster. So as a step one, we are going to create a service account with the name Prometheus SA in the monitoring namespace. Then as a step two, we are going to create a cluster role. So Prometheus reader was the role name. So that allows get a list and watch within the pod services and endpoints in the endpoint cluster wide. Okay, and once the role was created, then the role binding as a third step, cluster role binding. So we are going to link the Prometheus SA service to the Prometheus reader cluster role. So now Prometheus can discover all the pods with that particular role binding. Now as a fourth step, pod uses a service account. So Prometheus pod specifications will set a service account name as a Prometheus SA, and token account is automatically mounted. Sorry, token is automatically mounted, and scrapping work. Okay, and as a result, if Prometheus is compromised, attackers only read the pod or that particular service data and cannot delete or create or access the secrets which was contained. Okay, and this is how exactly the Prometheus RBAC flow, whatever we just discussed, Prometheus pod initially we created, and Prometheus pod we have, and we have a service account with the Prometheus SA, and we have a like what we can say that pod is associated with that particular service account, and that service account is having a role binding with the Prometheus reader that does this particular task. Okay, and that then cannot delete or cannot get the secrets. Okay, now let us quickly recap what we just covered. We covered like a service account and user account, and role based access control for service accounts. Okay, and user account is something like a ID card, employee ID card, to enter the human access into the Kubernetes clusters. Okay, and it was managed by externally. And service account is something managed by Kubernetes, and it was something like a system or robot ID badge that checks the applications or pods entry and automatically authenticates. And these are the key takeaways out of this discussion. Service accounts are help for identifying the pods and applications, and it token auto mounted by the Kubernetes, and it works with the role based access control and RBAC roles, and default SA exits per namespace. So create a dedicated service accounts per application. That is the best practice. And one final point out of for this discussion was user account. As I said, it is like a ID card, employee ID, and service account, it is a robot scanning badge. So right identity for the right entity. Okay, in the upcoming video we will be seeing about the pod security and security context. Okay, and I hope so you found some useful information out of this discussion, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much for watching the video, and all the best for your learning.